Welcome to the Fundamentals of Data Analysis, brought to you by Creations. Our course will follow this outline. In lesson 1, we will define what data is and what data analysis is, and we will give the difference between data analysis and data science. And then we will talk about some measures of dispersion, such as mean, median, standard deviation, and range. And we will round up lesson 1 with variables: nominal, ordinal, scale, string, categoricals. And in lesson number 2, we will dive into data coding. We will see how to code our data in a spreadsheet and in Excel. In lesson number 3, we will do some data cleaning and data wrangling. In lesson 4, we will dive into statistics, and we will do non-parametric tests such as the Wilcoxon test, the Mann-Whitney test, the chi-square test. What are these tests, and when should you use them, and how do you interpret their results? And we will round up with parametric tests such as the student t-test, logistic regression, linear regression, multivariate analysis, multiple linear regression, and let's write them. Lesson 1. Remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Thank you for being so kind. Okay, let's write on. What is data? Data in its specific terms is any information, especially in a scientific or computational context, or with the implication that it is organized. Data could also be recorded observations that are usually presented in a structured format. What is an analysis? An analysis is the decomposition into components in order to study a complex thing, a concept, a theory, etc. What then is data analysis? Data analysis is a process whereby we inspect, we clean, we transform, and we model data with the goal of discovering useful information, informing conclusions, and supporting decision making. The focus is actually turning raw data into useful statistics, information, and explanations. Examples of data analysis include descriptive, inferential, predictive, prescriptive, and so on. Data science is the mother of data analysis. It is an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems in order to extract knowledge and insights from many structural and unstructured data. Data science also refers to an emerging area of work concerned with the collection, preparation, analysis, visualization, management, and preservation of large collections of information. Data science is one of the fastest growing fields in the 21st century, and data scientists are in constant high demand. Their services are needed in marketing, in health, in technology, schools, companies, and you can name the rest. Examples of programming languages used for statistical analysis are Python, R, SQL, Stata, SAS, SPSS, Excel, MATLAB, etc. And each has its specific advantages and some disadvantages. For example, some of them are not free, they're not open source, so you have to buy. Why should you even study data analysis? Normally, data analysis is implicated. Rather, data analysis is part of every undergraduate course. Well, if you are watching this, it means you've got some interest in data. Whatever interest it is, it's certainly valid. Whether to analyze data as a freelancer to make a living or to use the skills in up your thesis, but to gain in-depth skills as a tutor, it is certainly very important, and I encourage you to go ahead. Now, take a look at this. In data analysis, you gain problem-solving skills. You become part of the solution. Data analysts are in constant high demand. It is only becoming more important, and the salary of data analysts and data scientists is on the rise. So you have every reason to learn how to analyze data. Okay, let's write on to some measures of dispersion. So what is the mean? The mean is the average of a set of values. Yes. And it's calculated by summing them together, the values together, and dividing by the number of terms. The mean is said to be very important to data analysis because it gives the average result from that data set. For example, in a research where participants are expected to choose one of three options, say option 1, 2, and 3, if the mean is 2, it means on average, option 2 is the preferred option in the population sample. Well, the mode is simply the value that appears the highest number of times in a distribution. Now, the median is the number separating the higher half of a data sample, a population, or a probability distribution from the lower half. The median of a finite list of numbers can be found by arranging all the observations from lowest value to highest value and picking the middle one. For example, in this range of 3, 3, 5, 9, and 11, the median is 5. However, if there is an even number of observations, then there is no single middle value. The median is therefore the mean of the two middle values. If the two middle values, add them together, divide by 2, and you have the median. The basic advantage of the median in describing data compared to the mean is that it is not skewed. It is not skewed so much by a small proportion of extremely large or small values, and so it may give a better idea of a typical value. For example, in understanding statistics like the amount of money earned as salaries by workers in a company, the mean may be skewed by a small number of workers who earn about 3 times the income of most workers. Median income may be a better way to suggest what typical income is. Because of this, the median is of central importance in robust statistics, and it is the most resistant statistic, having a breakdown point of 50%. Now, what is standard deviation? It is a measure of how spread out data values are around the mean. It is the square root of the variance. Now, what is variance? Variance is a measurement of the spread between numbers in a data set. It typically measures how far each number in the data set is from the mean, and therefore from every other number in the set. Both standard deviation and variance are measures of variability. The standard deviation is often preferred as the main measure of variability. However, the variance is more informative and it is used in inferential statistics. Now, a few definitions. Descriptive statistics summarizes the characteristics of a data set, like how many females were present, how many were married, how many were single, what percentage had gone to college, while inferential statistics rather help you to draw conclusions and make predictions based on your data. For example, is hepatitis B a threat to life on the University of Bamenda campus? Is premarital sex still considered a social abnormality? You'll be able to answer these questions in inferential statistics. Now, what's the range? The range is simply the length of the smallest interval which contains all the data in a sample. The difference between the largest and the smallest observations in the sample. Now, to succeed in data analysis, you must understand variables, because these variables will help you to choose your test wisely. So, the properties with varying values in a data set are called variables. For example, in a data set of a car manufacturing company, the variables are the mark of the car, the maximum speed, the horsepower, the price. In a data set of patients attending a hospital, the variables could be the sex of the patients, their ages, their temperature readings, their weights, their blood pressure values, and so on. Now, types of variables. We have string. This is a variable that is text. Any variable that is text, like text, male or female, text, not numbers. It's a string. Ordinal categorical variables. These are variables that come in a particular order. A typical example is a score in a test where you can have a score from 0 to 20. The students, like you have 10 on 20, you rank higher than someone who has 5 on 20. So that particular variable is ordinal, it's ordered. Another example is a survey response on a scale of say 0 to 5, from very satisfied to dissatisfied, kind of thing. Nominal categorical variable are non-numeric pieces of information without any inherent order. No inherent order. For example, are you pregnant? Yes or no? Are you married? Yes or no? What's your level of education? Primary, secondary, tertiary? Colors: green, blue, red, orange, pink. Countries: Cameroon, Nigeria, United States, England, Germany. Then there's no particular order. So you have to know that we have used the word categorical in the last two variables. So what's categorical? Categorical variables represent types of data which may be divided into groups. Yes, we first talk about yes or no. Do you belong to the group of yes or to the group of no? Do you belong to the group of positive or to the group of negative? Okay, so it is also known as qualitative variable. Especially of this because the data model that you use to analyze the data will depend on whether the data is categorical or continuous. Let's move on. Discrete numerical variable. All the variables representing a number are known as numerical or quantitative. Discrete numerical variables contain countable data. For example, how many children does each participant in your survey your data set have? How many minutes did it take for the lab to finish with each patient? What was the score of each student in the exam? In this case, it might be more of what's ordinal. Now, continuous numerical variable or variables that are measured at an interval level, or what people will call a scale. They are variables that keep changing. Each time you take the measurement, you are likely to have a different value. It could be temperature in degrees Celsius, blood sugar in milligrams per deciliter, speed in meters per second. And for such variables, during data coding, you don't code them. You simply put them the way they are, unless you want to categorize them to say high, low, normal, good, bad, worse, kind of a thing. So, before we leave lesson 1, remember that lesson 2 is coming up, and we are going to be talking about data coding. Of course, do not forget, if you forgot to click the like button and the subscribe button, do it right now. Thank you for being so kind. Remember, nobody cares unless you are rich, popular, or dead. Which will you choose? As for me, I have chosen to be rich.